Welcome back to Election Night. I'm here with Ithaca's Mayor Robert Cantelmo, and we're going to be talking about some of the races going on right now here in Ithaca. Mr. Cantelmo, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. The first thing I want to ask you, it's related to the only amendment that's on the ballot this year here in New York. A lot of people have been making it the top of their campaigns, like Josh Riley, Leah Webb. Could you break down the significance of that and your support for that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we've seen in recent years, there has just been one of the most dramatic rollbacks of human rights in U.S. history. And that, of course, is the repeal of Roe v. Wade and undermining women's rights to determine their own healthcare decisions. And thankfully, we have leadership here in New York State that has said, this is unacceptable. We need to enshrine these protections into our Constitution. And so New York has passed this through the legislature, and it's now to us to vote yes on Prop 1 and ensure that we are able to codify these protections so that there is no further infringement on human rights.
Absolutely. And also just talking about some of the candidates locally that have been running a lot of things. There's been a lot of events this past weekend. Could you talk to some of the role that you've played and all the things that have been happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really important for us to try to get the vote out. I've been really honored to be working closely with my colleagues, Josh Riley running for Congress here in New York 19, which is really going to determine, honestly, control of the House of Representatives, as well as trying to retain our supermajority in New York State Legislature by getting Senator Leah Webb reelected, as well as Assemblymember Anna Kellis. You're referring to the rally. We had a historic rally last week where we had packed State Theater, where it was myself, Josh, Leah, Anna. We had Leader Jeffries there. We had Lieutenant Governor Delgado and many others, organized by Natalie Merchant. I mean, it was an incredibly electric event. And I think it really shows just how excited folks are to turn out this year and ensure that we are getting the right people in office.
And as you said there, Leader Jeffries showing up obviously showed a lot of, how significant this race is for District 19. How much weight does District 19 hold?
It really is the keystone. I mean, as I was saying in my remarks that night, New York State is going to determine control of Congress. New York 19 is going to determine whether we get that by one vote majority or not. And Ithaca and Tompkins County's turnout tonight is going to determine the outcome of this race.
And let's talk about the race, a different race this time, looking at the presidential race. Obviously, you've put out your support for Vice President Kamala Harris. Could you talk about your outlook on the way that this race is going and your views on the Vice President?
I'm feeling really good. I mean, I was really pleased a few months ago when Vice President Harris came out with strong support for really one of the most pressing issues facing our nation right now, which is the housing crisis. We really need a president who is going to dedicate federal resources towards solving this problem. But obviously, far and away, Vice President Harris is the most well-suited candidate for the job. She has been a prosecutor. She has been a senator. She is the sitting vice president. She has been steeped in governance. And I am so excited to be supporting her and soon in January inaugurating our first woman president.
There you go. And one more final question for you right here. What is your message to tonight? People have voted at this point. The votes will be in. What is your message to those watching here the show tonight? What is your message to them about watching this play out?
Well, I think, just the message is that we have to make sure we leave it all on the table, right? You never know how elections are going to go. And unfortunately, this isn't just about partisan differences or policy preferences. There is a real stark choice about values. And it is, what are we going to say about human rights? What are we going to say about human dignity? And throwing yourself into this process, right? The election day is one day, but we need to keep showing up to ensure that even if this election goes the way that I hope it does, we continue to show up, advocate for what we need as a country, and ensure that our rights don't get rolled back. And I also just want to quickly say, when I left to come down to the studio, I heard that there are still 2-hour-plus lines up at Cornell's campus for students that are in line to vote. So anyone who is seeing this and hasn't left line yet, remember, polls close at 9, but stay there. Your vote counts. They have to let you vote if you are in line.
Mr. Cantelmo, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure to be talking to you.
Likewise.
And we'll be right back with more coverage tonight on election night. We'll be taking a look at all the races happening. We'll keep you all posted. Stay with us.